Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for my year-end slab review bonanza, I think I'm going to call it. Was kind of thinking of a way to wrap up the first, 9 or 10 months for me on the platform. I just started on YouTube in 2021, but I collected for many, many years prior to that. I'm actually coming up on my 15th anniversary of returning to collecting as an adult, and so I had a lot of stuff to share. And so what I did throughout the course of the year is anytime I showed a card on the YouTube channel, I would file it aside in a separate portion of my home office here. So at the end of this first year, I know exactly what cards I've already shown on the channel and then which of the many cards in my collection I still have, to show off at some point in the future that won't be duplicates. So the advantage of that, I have a 2-row monster box here, graded monster box of every slab that appeared on this channel in the calendar year 2021. So this won't be very easy to do in future years, but for this year, my first, I thought this might be fun. So I'm gonna flip through these with minimal commentary because there are quite a few of them to get through, although I don't always focus on graded cards. Looking back over the course of this year, I've certainly shown plenty of them. And most of them will be PSA, but there were a couple of CSGs to start us off. So these appeared in a very recent video, but tried out this company for the first time this year and was very impressed. We'll certainly be picking up more of these. Landed the Mark Grace Refractor out of 94 Finest, and then a pair of 90 Topps cards, Hall of Famer Larry Walker's rookie and Speedster Ricky Henderson. So those are just kind of cool additions to my 90 master set, I guess, so to speak. Gonna move in and kind of break these into chunks, but one of the bigger batches of these slab cards came back in episode 58 in the channel's early history last spring, and chose that episode number for a reason because I showed my 1958 Topps All-Star subset, which I've completed the entire thing in a PSA 6 format. So some huge names here in case you missed any of these the first time around. So yeah, fun year of collecting. Have really, really enjoyed jumping in here on YouTube and being a part of the community and getting to share my collection with a lot of you and develop so many new friends in the hobby. It's just been fantastic. Yeah, this was commented about this at the time, and I think many of you probably know this anyway, but this was the very first All-Star subset in a top set. They did not have separate All-Star cards in the early 50s and the 1958 release. These beauties were the very first All-Star cards. Here's a nice Willie Mays. The National League had blue background and the American League had red background on it. This is one of a few Mickey Mantles that we'll be looking at today, which would have blown my mind to say as a kid back in 1990. Just getting into collecting. So, all the big names of the day, obviously, in this All-Star subset. These were the final cards on the checklist, the absolute highest numbers in the 58 release. And yeah, this it's a pretty hefty set. Represented a decent portion of the slabs that I have to cover here for this year-end episode. Just 2 more to go here. We got one of the best lefties of all time, Warren Spahn. And then the final card in the 58 Topps set, Herb Score. So yeah, that was a fun project that I completed, in the early days of returning to the hobby. Probably knocked that set out between, 2007 and 2009, 10, somewhere in that range. So I've had all those slabs for, well over 10 years now, and I was grateful to have the opportunity to show them off this year. Did have a couple of non-sport slabs as well, so we'll mix it up here and look at those for a second. Picked up this sweet Elvis Presley Rockin' on Stage from the 56 Elvis set. Was inspired to get this one by my buddy Eric over at Those Back Pages. He featured an Elvis card from a 50s Elvis release for a while on his backdrop, and being a music lover, definitely wanted to add one of those to my collection. So showed that one off. The next three are Star Wars. So I featured these in a mini collections video very, very early on in the channel in a tribute to one of my favorite movie villains of all time, the great Darth Vader. So I have the 1977 Star Wars Dark Lord of the Sith card. And then to go along with that, two cards that kind of go, hand in hand, and they sort of display one of the most memorable moments in cinematic history from certainly my childhood, the reveal of Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's father. So these are from the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back set. You have right before the reveal, where Luke is dangling out there and Vader's asking him to embrace the dark side. And then right after the reveal, hate me, Luke, destroy me. So these are cards 114 and 115. Obviously, Topps didn't want to spoil that big plot turn in the card set, so there's not an actual card that says, I am your father or anything like that. But, these two in tandem are as close as you can get to that. So I thought it was kind of neat to get those back to back in matching PSA slabs and get those into the non-sport collection and kind of round out my small little Darth Vader PC, if you will. Also on the music front, matching that Elvis, got this sweet Pearl Jam Eddie Vedder Beckett slab. This was a concert they did at Wrigley Field back in the day in 2013, and they released a trading card set that was based on the 72 Topps design for that show specifically. And as a band, Pearl Jam has done a pretty cool job making various trading cards over the years, actually. And I have some others that I'll be showing off down the line here on the channel, but did get to that Eddie Vedder this past year. Quickly here, we have a handful of soccer cards, and then we're going to move back into baseball. This was part of a submission I did with my buddy Brian at Walk and Balk. It's a Kevin De Bruyne Topps Stadium Club rookie. Got this slab that Gem Mint grading in a sub that he did, and got a 9.5 on this rookie card. So pretty nice one there. Also in the same submission, sent in this Kylian Mbappe Panini Instant from his goal in the World Cup final in 2018, and got a 9 on that one. And then on the PSA side of the house, was inspired by my friend Peeps early on in the channel to pick up some Declan Rice, and landed this beautiful blue prism out of Panini Prism Premier League, the 2019 set. This is his rookie card for West Ham United, and looks pretty amazing, slabbed up. And then two of the all-time greats, and certainly the best players from, about the early to mid 2000s when they debuted right up to present day, Messi and Ronaldo. Picked up their cards from the first ever Sapphire UEFA Champions League release. So I've, professed many times my love for the Atomic or Sapphire cards. And when that moved into the sport of soccer, which I'm a big fan of, knew that I wanted to get these two GOATs on their first Sapphire cards. The Messi in the yellow uniform is actually like a short printed image variation. And this particular Ronaldo is actually the short print image variation as well. So still looking to pick up the base version of each of these, but wanted to get the short prints first. So was happy to grab those two. And that rounds out my soccer slabs that were on the channel this past year. And we're going to move now into modern baseball, and I'll try to pick up the pace. We are getting there, believe it or not. On the modern baseball front, and I consider this anything from like 1981 or 1980 onwards, basically when Topps was no longer the exclusive producer of baseball cards starting in 81 and forward. I consider those modern. My first is from 83. Picked this one up with the proceeds from a contest that I won here on the channel. So that's been another really cool thing about the YouTube card community. Constantly have, video responses and subscriber contests that you can participate in. And was fortunate enough to win John over at Wade Boggs Fan, his 400th subscriber giveaway, which included a $40 eBay gift card, and thought it would be appropriate to go out and land a Boggs card with those funds, and was able to get this nice slabbed, autographed, authenticated rookie card of the man himself. Just a really cool card for my Red Sox collection that I'm really glad I was able to reel in this past year and add to my team collection. Have a lot of Boggs, being a Red Sox collector over the years, but and I do have, raw, and I think maybe even a graded copy of that rookie card, but never had a signed signed copy until I won that contest over at Wade Boggs Fan. So thanks again to John, if you end up watching this, for the opportunity to add that card to the collection. A couple more, or one more from the 80s. Used this one in a Will Clark Signature Sundays episode earlier this month, but his 86 Topps Traded, one of my favorite cards of my youth. Got a steal on this David Ortiz for about 20 bucks. Just another example of, getting a slabbed card for less money than it would cost you just to submit a card, the 98 Bowman's Best. So happy with that one. Absolutely looking to pick up some more Big Papi here in 2022. He's a name that I'll be chasing down. Here's a Charlie Blackmon rookie that I featured earlier that I got for like 12 bucks. Refractor out of Bowman Chrome. Pretty cool. One of my favorite shiny cards of the entire year. This gorgeous Hope Diamond Anniversary Pee Wee Reese out of 2011 Topps. The parallels in 2011 were just amazing. I routinely show off the Cognac parallels that I'm chasing, but man, those Hope Diamonds numbered out of 60 are gorgeous, and that match with the Brooklyn Dodgers colors was, I just fell in love with that card and had to add it to the collection, so I was glad to get that one in this year. Here's one of my best bargains of the year. Got this Mookie Betts, the only pre-2014, Mookie Betts card that exists, the Prism draft picks, other than, minor league team sets and things like that. Scored this slab to PSA 9 for $15, which is wrong on so many levels. Here's an awesome shiny one from the early days of the channel. Total bargain pickup. A Silver Slate Blue Sparkle Prince Albert. Love it. Now we get into the year 2014, so we're going to see some Bogarts here. This is a Bowman Sterling Refractor. Love the wild, space theme going on here. I love this for the same reason that I love Metal Universe cards. And this one is serial numbered as well. So out of 199. So a decent rookie card there for my Bogarts collection. Had his standard rookie card from Topps slabbed as well in that submission that I did with Brian at Walkenbach. And got a Gem Mint 10 on this. And also got it branded Shoebox Legends on the back. So this is a one of one. There's definitely no other Shoebox Legends Bogarts rookie floating around out there. This was a very cool moment from my first year here on YouTube. Thanks again to Brian for letting me hop on that submission train with you. Showed some other Bogarts rookies. Here's the yellow, I think a Walgreens exclusive parallel. And then from Topps Chrome, the purple. These look just absolutely stunning. Wish I had grabbed more copies of these when they were like $5 to $10 back in the day, but happy to have what I do. Here's one. I got this from my pal Jeremy IPTTM. Shout out to him. It's been a while since we touched base, but I know he's still doing his thing, and he was kind enough just out of left field to send me this purple refractor out of Topps Heritage Chrome. Really cool. And I did end up sending Jeremy back a Mike Trout Topps Tech PSA 9 because I know he's a big Trout guy, and I know he appreciated that. So that was kind of a cool blind trade that we ended up doing there. Moving into 2018, we're going to see some Devers now. Here's the Silver Glossy A&G rookie. Also got the retail set image variation rookie in a 9. Got the standard Topps Chrome base. You'll notice none of these are 10s. I'm not a PSA 10 guy, really. I'd rather get a 9 and have more money to buy other cards with. Here's another Pujols. Just for whatever reason, seem to be able to land a few of his cards very, very cheaply this calendar year. So an X-Fractor there out of 2018 Topps Chrome. 2018 Finest Refractor, Rafi Devers rookie. God, this is one I'm particularly proud of. I think this is a sneaky good card. The Flame parallel of Juan Soto's Topps Fire rookie. This is my favorite rookie card that I have of the handful of Sotos that I have. I just think it's beautiful, and have a feeling I'll be thanking myself down the line for getting this when it was available for less than $100 in a 9. Just gorgeous card of a guy with tremendous upside who I'm certainly not alone in enjoying collecting in this hobby. So happy to have that one. And along those same lines, I've also got My guy Devers on the orange parallel, numbered out of 299. And the purple parallel, these are just amazing looking cards, numbered out of 99. A lot of these were from the very early days on the channel, so you may have missed these. Here's a Beam Team insert out of Stadium Club. Also a mint 9. These were just dirt cheap, like, I mean, $10, something like that. Here's a guy that for whatever reason doesn't seem to get a lot of hobby love right now. I think it's maybe injury woes because he has been hurt from time to time, but a nice mini Allen and Ginter Tatis rookie. I love how the minis look in the PSA slabs with the frosted glass around them. So pretty cool, you know, cheaper rookie card of a very popular guy in the hobby. And then the most recent baseball card to be shown, at least in slab form this past year, was this gorgeous Albert Pujols Sapphire. So just goes along with what I said earlier, just seemed to be able to land some criminally cheap Pujols over the course of the calendar year for whatever reason. So that rounds out the modern baseball. I'm going to move into hockey here and then vintage baseball, and I'm going to try to wrap this up. We are getting lengthy here. I'm aware of it. Here's one of my favorite autos, my entire collection from 71-72 Topps Hockey, a 4-player hard-signed wins leaders card, all goaltenders. You know, a couple of these guys are in the Hall of Fame. They did a great job with the autographs. Tony Esposito actually passed away, so making this card even more significant in the past calendar year. So happy with that one. Here's a big boy card. I showed this one off more than once this past year. It might be my most valuable hockey card, the Wayne Gretzky rookie. Got this many, many years back with my holiday bonus when I was in my early 20s. I was very nervous about the purchase at the time, but it's set me back a fraction of what that card is now worth, and I'm very glad that my strategy of locking that one up early in my adult hockey card collecting kind of paid off. Absolutely, you know, a coffin card for me, and one that routinely makes countdowns of, you know, show your favorite hockey cards and things of that nature. So here's an 81-82 Larry Murphy. I don't really know why I showed this one, or I don't recall, but he is a Hall of Famer, and it's a nice PSA 9 there out of early 80s Topps Hockey. Here's another pretty essential and awesome hockey card. I think the most important hockey card of the 1980s. I think the Gretzky rookie is the most important hockey card of the 70s. I think the Mario Lemieux is the most important of the 80s. So made sure to get both of those some airtime in my first year here on the platform. Oof, got fighting a little glare here with the overhead lighting, but so apologies for the crooked array of slabs there. Here's a nice Gretzky from his trade to the Kings. Love the Topps version of this card in particular, showing him raising the King sweater after the announcement. Got a couple of signed cards now from the first ever hockey card set that I collected. Featured these in Signature Sundays episodes. Theo Fleury, these are from 89-90, either O-Pee-Chee or Topps. The great Ron Francis. And last but not least for that trio, Brett Hull, the Golden Brett. I think one of the most important hockey cards of the 90s, to kind of continue the theme there after the Gretzky and Lemieux, is the 1990 scorer Eric Lindros. And fortunate enough to have that card in a PSA 9 slab, which I did show earlier this year. And more importantly, very, very excited about this one. Hard signed auto from the man himself with a Hall of Fame inscription as well. So I think, in my personal opinion, a sneaky good hockey card. This wasn't expensive, but I'm really, really glad that I was able to get that one locked up. Here's one of the most aesthetically pleasing cards to get airtime this entire year. Check out this gold team Gretzky out of Select. The Dufex element here is just unbelievable. And what is super cool about these, one of the only cards I know that is like this, the back of the card has the same Dufex element. Just look how wild that is. So pumped to have this one in the Gretzky collection. I think this is one of the better Gretzky cards of the 90s. Showed this in my top 5 hockey cards in your collection video. Revealed this one, a huge card of my favorite current active NHL player, Alex Ovechkin. So I have his Young Guns in a PSA 9. That is a quote-unquote big boy card. Although, you know, I've been at this many years, so I picked a lot of these up when they were a fraction of what they go for now. Here's another beautiful Ovechkin. This one I actually did pick up this past year, and I paid, up for it to an extent, but it's his silver prism from the only official standalone prism hockey release, and that was a smart buy. It was not cheap, but very happy that I got that one when I did. Here's an $8 patch that I picked up just because it was $8, and showed that in a recent episode just to kind of talk about, I think it was a hockey rummage, and just touched on what a bargain that was for $8. And then I've got 2 Conor Mcdavids to close out the hockey. I've been really trying to get into his stuff as much as I can afford to. Got his second year Upper Deck Ice Sub-Zero insert. These are acetate and really cool cards. This, for some reason, was graded a PSA 7. I can't figure out why, but the result of that was I brought this home for less money than it would cost me to submit a card to PSA, even at their bulk submission rate. So for McDavid, rare second year insert, can't go wrong there. And then the last hockey card is a parallel that I'm so fond of from over the years. Upper Deck exclusives, UD exclusives. Got McDavid's 2018 card in exclusives format. These are all numbered to 100 copies, so you can't really be that particular about condition, and was happy to get this even in an 8 at a very cheap price. So that wraps up the hockey slabs that made the channel this year. And to round out the rest of the video, let's look at the vintage baseball, other than the 58 Topps, all-stars that we already saw stacked up in the background there. So we got some pre-war cards first. Here's a Philadelphia Caramel Bill Carrigan of the Boston Red Sox. He looks like a vampire there. I made the joke at the time. I maybe even titled the episode Count Carrigan or something like that, but just super cool turn of the century cardboard. I'm a total sucker for anything this old. Here's the T206 card that I got for free, thanks to a seller mistake and a very gracious seller. T207 brown border, which I feel like you don't hear as much about as you do the T206 set, but these are really neat. Love this Stanley Yerks, and love the very prominent Red Sox on the sweater. A lot of these pre-war cards, they don't have team logos or, writing on them, so it looks like, Panini cards, or the players are wearing pajamas. So anytime you get a prominent team logo featured, that's kind of neat. Next up, arguably my favorite pre-war set, Cracker Jack Baseball. This beautiful Veen Greg, which is criminally undergraded at a 2.5. And to make my case, here's another 2.5 that I also showed this year of Hal Janvrin. Both these guys are on the Red Sox, so pick these up for my team collection. And how the card on the left received the same grade as the card on the right is beyond me, but I love them both, and I'm very happy to have them. Next up, I showed off a 1933 Gowdy. So this is a Henry Johnson, and very low grade, a 1.5, but it looks great, and I love the strong red background for a Red Sox card like this. And then the next grouping here goes together. So I actually completed the 6-card team set of Diamond Stars for the Boston Red Sox, and these spanned from 1934 through 1936. So the first card is the most significant of the bunch, Lefty Grove. Got this in a very terrible PSA 1 that looks fantastic to me. It's the only playing era Lefty Grove that I have in my collection, so I'm proud to have it. Here's a Max Bishop, and these just feature the greatest backgrounds, hand-painted. They have almost like, some of them have like an Art Deco kind of feel. Others just have a good ballpark background, like this Rick Ferrell. Love the catcher card here. The backstop behind him. Here's a Billy Werber with just a simple rainbow background. My favorite in the set, Fritz Ostermuller, and you can see kind of some of the Art Deco that I mentioned there in the background, but just really cool image there. Super cool card from, 1935. So this is coming up on 90 years old now, and it still looks very bright and vibrant. And then the last card in that team set, Wes Ferrell, to round it out. So those are, low grade examples, but didn't pay a fortune for any of those. And it's pretty cool to have a completed team set, that's 90 years old. I'm proud of that. So here's a 38 Gowdy. The heads up, or big head caricature cards. These aren't for everyone, but I love these. And I think this might be the only one I have, Joe Vosmick. A couple Bowmans now. So I'm working on a 49 Bowman Red Sox team set, and towards that end I showed 2 cards that I have already acquired in PSA 5, Joe Dobson and the underrated Billy Goodman. Here's a real big card. This was part of my greatest flip ever series where I sold off a $5 soccer card to fund 5, monster slab singles for the collection. And this is maybe my favorite of that whole bunch, the 1950 Yogi Berra. So happy to have that one. Here's the card that started it all for me in terms of vintage, 1950 Bowman Maurice Stringbean McDermott. I have this 1952 Topps Don Lenhart, and I used this in an episode where I showed some Topps Lineage autos that were reprints of these 52s. Here's another big one that was part of that flip. 55 Ted Williams, the Splendid Splinter. Very happy anytime I can get a playing era Ted Williams into the collection. I have precious few of those, but happy with that one. This Maze 56 was also part of that crazy flip. So you can see that in that greatest flip ever installment, which was a pretty wild story. Here is a 57 Hank Aaron. This is one that I actually did buy this past year in a PSA 5. When it came across in my inbox, triggered a saved search, I was blown away by the clarity and beauty of this card and just snatched it up right, immediately started negotiating with the seller, got him down a little bit from his already reasonable price point. And I think this is one of the best looking PSA 5s of this card that I have seen, and very good centering, which is notoriously tough in 57. Next up, a couple 59s, or really a handful of 59s. So I'm working on this set. Have most of the commons in binder form, just raw, but some of the Hall of Famers I have Slab. So we saw Stan Musial. He doesn't have a lot of Topps cards, so that's a cool one. Ernie Banks. Used to have a fairly complete Banks player run, but I did sell some of them off a while back, but held on to that one. Whitey Ford, also in a 6. And then last but not least, on the 59 front, the human vacuum cleaner himself, Brooks Robinson. So 4 nice ones there for that set pursuit. I'm going to try to wrap this up in under 30 minutes here. Let's keep moving. Some Hammer and Hank here, 61 in a 5. That was a pickup from this past year. 65 in a 4. Another one I grabbed this past year. So working hard on my player run of him. Have this 79 O-Pee-Chee that I picked up of the straw that stirs the drink, just because I love the O-Pee-Chee logo over the baseball. And he was, Reggie was obviously a very important player in the major leagues in the late 70s. I have 2 other Mickey Mantles to show besides that 58 All-Star that we looked at. I have his 68 Topps and his 66 Topps. So 2 important cards there in his playing era run that I hope to work on over the course of my lifetime. Was very happy to show those off this past year. And then last but not least, the very first slab that I showed on the channel this year in episode number 1. I had just acquired it not long before launching the channel, and it was a huge milestone in my collecting to reel this one in. The 1954 Topps Hank Aaron rookie card. It's a PSA 2.5, but man, does it look nice. I can't afford a high-grade example of this card, especially after his passing, but was able to land this one just very, very shortly before he passed. In fact, it was in transit in the mail as he passed away, and I was very worried about whether or not it was going to arrive, but it did. That was the first card that I showed off as far as slabs in my very first episode earlier this year. So that is a wrap. Did it in under 30 minutes, and that is every single graded card that appeared on this YouTube channel in the year 2021. So thank you for sticking with me through this first year. I assure you that everything we've seen here is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of my graded card collection and my collection overall. So I have a ton more fuel to keep this channel going for many years to come. I'm really enjoying this community and this experience, and looking forward to keeping at it in the new year. So thank you to every one of you who stopped by to watch this video or any of my other content this past year. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and I hope that you will stop back by in the new year. So I'll be back then with some more sports card content, but until then, take care.